are you? Happy Monday and high vibrations to everyone on this Monday afternoon. Welcome, welcome. This is Meaningful Intuitive Guided Tarot here, coming to you on this Monday. I'm wishing and hoping that all of you have had a good start to your week. Welcome aboard to my new subscribers. Welcome aboard for viewers that come across this channel, aka in my GT train. I hope that your experience coming aboard this train will be enjoyable and delightful. Besides the reading and the content that I am about to prepare or bring to this channel, and other videos and content that I have, you are free to browse and to kind of just see what videos. Some of them will be personal, pertaining to your energy. Some of them will be other readings that I have brought to this channel. But whatever it is, I hope your experience aboard this channel for the first time be one that you can definitely resonate with, and that your experience will be good. And a special shout out to my already loyal subscribers that have been with me since the beginning and have continued to support me and this channel. I am very well thankful for that. So with all that being said, everyone, as you can tell by the title, what this video will be pertaining to. And the question is the Princess of Wales, Princess Catherine, is she okay? For those of you that may know or may not know, which I feel that most by now everyone has seen and heard in the news, which seems to be like the main focal point, is that of the health issues that has come about pertaining to not only the Princess of Wales, but also that of King Charles III. But this particular reading, we are going to more or less talk more about Princess Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and what have been a concern behind her needing abdominal surgery. And so, like any other outlets and any other channels that have covered and spoke about this, it's definitely raising for the public concerns. It's been kind of raising suspicions, as I have seen from other channels and outlets, and looking at people's response behind this. It has definitely raised people's eyebrows into figuring out what is really going on. And so behind that, my straightforward way of saying what could be is simply believe half of what you hear, all of what you see. I'm pretty sure many of you have heard that statement. Believe half of what you hear, all of what you see. But in this case, it's maybe things that you are not seeing behind the scenes. Now, does that mean that I will be able to see or that I am privy to know? To a point, because this reading and the contents thereof is coming from my intuitive perspective, my intuitive abilities, which I have, and for one of which I have very strong clairvoyant abilities. One that is the strongest is clairsentient, able to tap into people's emotions. I'll look into the eyes, as the eyes give me what is going on to the soul. And so, as any other readings that I have brought pertaining to celebrities and anything else, particularly when it comes to the celebrities, I always look into their eyes, because it tells a story. A story whether or not they have remained to keep silent from the public, but that is where my intuitive abilities happens to be the strongest, followed by the others. But I say that because before or while preparing this reading for Princess of Wales, I did just that. But I also closed my eyes to really see what is really pulling on her. What was the reason behind her having this abdominal surgery? And I will say that it's more than what it is. It's not as serious as they are making it. And I will say right now, before I get into it, that I will be very conscious about how I do deliver this content or deliver this video pertaining to her, because at the end of the day, it is considered a health issue, right? It is a concern. But when it comes to the royal family, we do know that that is the web of where secrets are hidden. There are things that the palace and the royal wants to keep to. They want to keep certain things from being in the public eye, but of course, like anything else, like any other celebrity, that would be very hard to do, right? Because there is scrutiny and what have you. So I say that because there is more to it that one might imagine pertaining to this. And so what I have gathered intuitively is the fact that Princess of Wales has severe stress. Severe stress to the max. Now, I did write down my notes so that I wouldn't forget anything that I feel would be prevalent into this reading. And intuitively, I looked, as I mentioned, into her eyes and deep into her soul, her energy. It's profoundly, as I see to it, that she had an awakening of the where. And I'll repeat, it's as if she had an awakening of the wear and tear of living the royal life. An aha moment, if you will, that Princess Catherine had, right? Like an epiphany, okay? Moment. Really coming out of the illusion, coming out of like the fantasy world, and have been hit with the reality of having stepped into the role of being a princess, a wife, a mother of three at that. Now, some of you, which I already know, you are saying, what in the world do that have to do with abdominal surgery? And this is where I say that it's not as serious as it might sound, but there is something else going on. There's an underlying kind of secretive aspect, particularly with Princess Catherine here, in terms of what is this all about, and we're going to get into it. And so when it comes to her having had this abdominal surgery, and it was a surgery that, according to Kensington Palace, it was a planned abdominal surgery. Okay? I'll repeat. According to Kensington Palace, this was a planned abdominal surgery that Princess of Wales, Princess Catherine, did. So it wasn't something per se that it was unexpected. It was planned. Now, what does that mean? Okay? Now, first and foremost, like I said, I'm going to be very cautious. This is a sensitive type of interpretive reading, and because nothing is set in stone, because the accuracy is not 100%, at times that I feel I want to put a ledge, I will, but at the same time, like I said, nothing is set in stone, right? But I intuitively feel that the Princess of Wales was pregnant. Okay, that's number one. I feel that she was pregnant, okay? And somehow that the pregnancy led to, unfortunately, allegedly, perhaps, it may have led to an ectopic pregnancy. All right? I'm going to repeat again. This abdominal surgery, when I asked what was behind it, but even before asking, I always try to intuitively on my own, just kind of see what I pick up, what's going on, and then I follow through with my Tuesday Tarot. So I feel like what led to this and how all of this happened that led to her having the surgery was due to the fact that she was pregnant. But it was something that the public did not see, because I feel that before she began to show that the problem that came about behind the pregnancy, unfortunately, if this was the case allegedly, if she was pregnant, okay, let's just say she conceived in December, okay, that would put her between now and then, that would have put her, definitely she would have been in her first trimester, right? But if, for allegedly purposes, right, she was pregnant, that pregnancy may have, somehow I felt that it could have led to an ectopic pregnancy. Now, for those of you that may not know what that means, and of course, you can do your own research, but just for the purposes thereof, to understand why did I feel that this may have been the case, and to understand what is an ectopic pregnancy. So, a pregnancy in which the fertilized egg implants outside of the uterus, which results in that egg not being able to survive outside the uterus. And if left to grow, it can damage nearby organs and cause life-threatening loss of blood. Her life becomes life-threatening. Now, with that being said, that would possibly explain and make sense as to the surgery and why it was planned. Yet again, we say, okay, but abdominal surgery. If in fact she allegedly had this ectopic pregnancy, and I want to also just stress, for those that know as well, that with all of Princess Catherine's pregnancies, from the first to the second and third child, we have heard many of times that she had a very rough pregnancy. With all of her pregnancies, she's just one of those women that pregnancy is just like the worst, right? It's not a good feeling, right? And so we know she suffered very badly. I think the term by which I remember Dr. R's mentioning is called hyperpremesis. You guys know what I mean, because I know I'm not saying it right, but it begins with that H word, hyperparemesis, or something to that effect, but you can Google it. And she had that with her pregnancies. And so I feel that if that was the case, that she was pregnant again within the past month or two, that somehow, unfortunately, it may have resulted in an ectopic pregnancy. And with it resulting in that, then yes, there will have to be some sort of surgery involved. But now we move forward and say, okay, so why is it that her abdominal, why did it lead to an actual abdominal surgery? And what most people are kind of a bit suspicious about is the duration in which she is still at the hospital, or why is she requiring further recovery at the hospital. She is said to be at a private facility, hospital, right, behind having a surgery. And with that being said, what I intuitively feel, again, it's very interesting why I feel so strong about her reason and being there beyond the normal timeline in which you would stay at a facility, at a hospital, right? But I feel that when it comes down to it, that Katie, I'm trying to see where and how I'm going to go with this. Okay, behind that ectopic pregnancy, allegedly, right? I feel that behind that, there was a possible, and I repeat, a possible, allegedly, that she may have also had a hysterectomy. Now, I know you're going to say, again, that still don't make sense. There are many people that have said, you know, I've had one, or you know someone that had it, and still they were out, you know, shorter than the time that it said that she is staying there. But when I say that is because when we look back again briefly about the difficulties that she had with her past pregnancies, now fast forwarding to if in fact she was pregnant prior to her having the surgery, and now experiencing whatever symptoms, those heavy bad symptoms that she has being pregnant by itself, but now it resulted in something as serious as an ectopic pregnancy. Now that changes the whole, that changes the whole dynamics about her having children, wanting to have children in the future. And I feel like this was all like an awakening for her, in a sense where I feel like when it's all said and done, I really feel, and I also feel that it was amicable with her and her husband, Prince William, that she wanted this hysterectomy. I feel like if that was the case, allegedly, that if she had this hysterectomy, I feel that it was something that I think they both agreed upon, and she did it. Okay? However, I do pick up some type of a slight mini deceptive aspect of Katie, in a sense where when it comes down to now filling in the possible hole as to why though did she, or why is she extending more time, is because when I mentioned, if you recall, when I mentioned started out of this reading that she suffers with severe anxiety, stress to the max. And I don't know, I feel one or two things. She either requested to have the rest of her recovery there at the hospital as opposed to going home, or it may have been asked upon her if she wants to remain here to recover, to kind of be like closely monitored there. And then again, you'd be like, well, that don't make sense because she have all the resources to have a nurse to go home. She have this, she have that. Absolutely. And that is the important thing of why I'm bringing that up. Yes, absolutely. If she wanted to, she can afford to. She have that resource, right? She have it to have a nurse to go home and to fully recover and be, with her 24/7 around the clock. Absolutely. But I feel she preferred by choice to remain at the hospital. Why? For her peace of mind. Okay? And, I always feel and say that whatever I feel intuitively, I don't want to change it and I'm not going to change it, right? It doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's just what it is. And so I just feel that with her and feeling her anxiety, I feel that if she had went home, she possibly would have had a breakdown, a mental breakdown. Okay? So I want to say that despite, and it's also been said that since last December, the end of 2023, that she had been missing anyway. So I feel that a part of it was because she was physically just worn out, but it could have been pertaining to the pregnancy, which would make sense allegedly, because if she's already aware that, especially during the beginning, in which most people know that the first trimester is the most important trimester. Once you are out of the first trimester, moving into your second and third, you're out of the woods. But if you are a woman that have had issues, or your pregnancies, tend to not go well, then you have to take extra precaution. So I say that because, again, when it comes to her well-being, come to her peace of mind, I really feel strongly that Katie just want to just stay there. Why? Because if she went home, regardless of the fact that she had a nurse around the clock, it doesn't matter. It's something about the environment that I think she needed a break from, okay? Not to mention just the kids or her husband. It's something about the environment. And I definitely can attest to that, because when I had my child, prior to that, sometimes as women, we do a lot. We really put ourselves out there for our families, for our husbands, for, the rest of the children, whatever it is. And sometimes you need a break. And even though you will say, well, the hospital is like the last place that you would want to kind of, no, it's different. So in a sense, I kind of can understand her from a perspective, because I've been there where with one of my pregnancies, after giving birth, I just felt like I didn't want to come home. I didn't want to face, you know, certain aspects of coming back home, whether it be the dishes or whether having to put my body through this or what have you. Now you also can say, well, she don't have to worry about washing dishes. No, because she got servants. Absolutely. But again, it's about the environment. It's almost like saying, you want a true vacation? Take a vacation outside of your home. Some people say a staycation, but for others, they need to actually be out, away from their home, away from their apartment, just away from their routine environment and go outside of something, because there is where you can finally have a peace of mind, right? If that makes sense. And I feel for some of you, you may understand where I'm coming from, especially for you divine feminine ladies out there. Now for you men, you might have a different kind of, definitely you're going to, for those men that do come across this video, you're going to feel a certain way about it. But for my, you know, divine ladies out there that have been through pregnancies, and if you've been one of those women that have had it rough and so forth, and just kind of wanting to get away from, not that you don't, you know, per se love your husband or you love your children, it's just that sometimes we women, we take on a lot. And if we are not aware of how much of a toll that holding that family down and just recently giving birth, or something happens where it's like now healing after the aftermath of something. So you can say, if allegedly she did have this ectopic pregnancy and then followed by a hysterectomy, she needed to heal first mentally. And for those that know about mental health, sometimes it is the worst part of one's health, more so than the physical, right? That mental health is nothing to play with, okay? Mental health, I repeat, is nothing to play with. It's very serious. And I feel that she definitely is dealing with some sort of heavy anxiety, mental anxiety. I just want to make sure that I am. So again, for emphasis, I want to say that I feel that the reason she is there longer than the typical time frame, I feel it was something that she requested, and it was something that they honored, like they may have honored her wishes to remain there. I also feel allegedly that she may have, when she is home, and this is the part that I feel that she may not have perhaps let her husband know. I feel like this is something that she keeps to herself, and if it's anybody that maybe might be aware of this, might be her mother and her sister. But when it comes to Prince William and any of the royals, I strongly feel that somehow she takes depressants to kind of cope with her anxiety, okay? Allegedly, right? I feel that she may take it, because I feel that, like I said, the wear and tear of her dealing with her anxiety and her stress is very overwhelming, and I feel that somehow she may have done so. Now, again, before we jump into my tools to tarot, again, I just want to just do a recap. So, for emphasis again, abdominal surgery, I feel that was more pertaining to the hysterectomy and possible ectopic pregnancy. And if that was the case, of course, you know, I hope it wasn't the case. You know, I'm only speaking about what I feel may be the case and picking up intuitively about it. But in no way does it give any type of 100% credence as to if that was the case. It may have been, right? Time will tell, right? Eventually. But in terms of that, yes, I feel that she will be okay behind us, right? I don't sense anything, and that's the thing, like, I don't sense anything severe, right? I want to be sensitive in how I, you know, say that, because like I said, it's nothing serious. Now, when it comes to her father-in-law, Prince not Prince, we got a King Charles the Third. I feel his situation definitely is more serious, right? I feel like it's more involved, more concerns there. But with her, I feel it's not as, serious as they, and that's why I say believe half of what you hear, all of what you see. And in this case, what you don't see. The palace are just only giving the public what it is that they feel will kind of hush them over during this time, right? Because like I said, the fact that it even has come out that she needed abdominal surgery, that just lets you know, as much as celebrities try very hard, as well as the royals, right, to try to keep things sealed, it's just kind of like impossible. And for those that do, bless their hearts, right? But it's very tricky for celebrities to keep certain things under wraps. So it's like, well, who leaked? Who provided this information that she had this abdominal surgery, right? And then, of course, it happened all in the same week that it was announced that King Charles III then had this prostate issue as well. So, like I said, there are just certain aspects of things that, as much as they try, it's just unavoidable. But getting back to Princess of Wales, I feel like it's not as bad. And you know what? That's good that it's not, right? And as far as her father-in-law, we hope that all goes well with him, right? At the end of the day, it's no judgment here, anything like that. Whatever it is that he is dealing with, at the end, we hope that he recovers and that everything will go well with him. But pertaining to Princess of Wales, we just want to say that it's really not much of a huge emergent type of situation with her. That's what I'm feeling, that I just think the poor woman just wants to just get away from it all. I just think that she is very overwhelmed. And so as I conclude my intuitive interpretation behind it, is that I feel at the end of the day, if she did make that decision, which I feel that her and her husband amicably, decided that that's the best thing, is because definitely I feel that with all her hard times and with the pregnancies in the past, and with this happening allegedly, that definitely kind of gave her a wake-up call or a red flag or the green light at the same time to say, something, I don't want no more kids. I don't want no more children. And if her physician or her doctor saw something else that was going on, they might have suggested, that this might be the best thing to do. It's not like she don't have any children. She is, I believe, in her early 40s, right? 42, 43, somewhere along there. I don't think she's over 45. She's somewhere between 42 and 45. So I already know that once you turn 36, once you are over 35, a woman that's trying to have a baby, she's already high risk. Because I know I was high risk with my last 2 pregnancies. And so that right there. So if you are a woman that is pregnant at 40 and beyond, it does put you in a very risky position. And someone like Princess Catherine that had issues, with some heavy, serious issues pertaining to her pregnancy, if she was pregnant within the past month or 2 leading up to this, I feel that that is where the abdominal surgery may have been pertaining to. The ectopic, prior to that, having that ectopic pregnancy, and then deciding overall that maybe a hysterectomy might be advised. Now, for some people, some will also, argue the fact, because I wrote my notes, yes, some will argue the fact that a hysterectomy is for those that, if there's cancer detected. Now, according to the palace, they said that it was not cancer related, so very good for that it wasn't nothing cancerous. But it's also doesn't have to be in terms of why a person, particularly a woman, would have a hysterectomy just because something was cancerous. It could also, what could also bring on having that, which we know that would require an abdominal surgery, is that it could also pertain to uterine prolapse, okay? Uterine prolapse, abdominal bleeding, fibroids, and then of course cancer, but they are saying that it wasn't cancer related, but it could be fibroids. It could have been some other, issues that they saw that perhaps they felt that, you know what, overall, Princess of Wales, we think that doing this will overall spare you any further health issues when it comes to being pregnant. So it's almost like, when it comes to conceiving, that this would be like avoiding any type of issue when it comes to conceiving and having babies, okay? Allegedly, all right? So, and you can always Google it. If, you guys want to do further research, we can Google and, get further information that hysterectomy doesn't just pertain to someone, needing it because of cancer, but there are other issues, particularly when it comes to the females. It could be fibroids, right? It could be abnormal bleeding, right? And uterine prolapse. So with that being said, and that would just basically mean that, of course, with that hysterectomy, of course, for those that mostly know, that would require removing her uterus and, in some cases, the cervix, okay? So if, again, she did undergo, allegedly, this hysterectomy, then that means that would definitely prevent her from having children, okay? And I'm going to leave that there as reporting on that. It's just kind of not educational, but I just felt that I needed to kind of, briefly kind of go into the meaning of what it is for those that may not know, okay? But it also points to the fact of now why, possibly why she decided to have that, because having a hard time and not wanting further children in the future, okay? So now I think that pretty much covers in terms of what I feel. And now I'm going to kind of now ease into with my final thoughts, and then we are going to get into the other aspect pertaining to, now the question now comes to, then what is it that is causing this depression, basically? What is causing this anxiety, okay? Because there are other elements to this as well, right? So just keep in mind that sometimes if it's nothing physical, because we know overall she was in good health, right? Aside from when she is pregnant, but overall she was in good health, right? But she's a very fragile woman as it is, right? She's very petite, very fragile overall, right? Even when she's not pregnant, she's a very, fragile woman is what I pick up, right? So when she is pregnant, it just kind of just really puts a toll on her body. But in addition from that, besides that, overall, remember the saying, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. And when speaking about this anxiety and stress that she is undergoing, it goes back. And speaking of which, for those of you that may not know, or my new ones, I just want to say, because it's going to kind of tip into what overall, for me, what may be causing this stress. And stress starts in the mind. And that mental mind, when that mental mind is undergoing worries, concerns, it can what? It can affect your health, right? It can affect your physical health. Definitely affect your emotional. So I feel overall that Princess of Wales, she juggles. She juggles and balancing her mind, her body, and her inner soul, right? But when you have things on your mind that's weighing on you heavily and heavily, guess what? Sometimes it can lead to other illnesses, right? It can lead to other illnesses. Even if you are athletic, you take care of yourself, you eat right, you diet, you do all the right things, but again, and it has been known that people that exercise, work out, eat right, Still, if they are suffering with anxiety or heavy depression, that don't mean anything. It can begin to affect your physical and your emotional, right? So that's why your mental health overall for anybody, not just pertaining to her, but for any one of us, our mental health is something that we should definitely strive to keep in balance, because if it don't, that in itself can lead to other things, and that can be like a silent killer. And for someone like her that is living, you know, in the royal environment, right? There are so many things, so many secrets and things that go on, and some of which, of course, unfortunately, does involve her husband, right? I have to speak of him because speaking of her and not mentioning him, it won't, you know, even though it's predominantly about her, but he is a part of what is going on. There is a connection. He is a part of what's adding or contributing, unfortunately, to her stress, right? And I have to mention that. But as we wind down, I want to just say that in speaking about her role as a princess and what it is generally that it entails. Now, this came out about a year ago. Now, not knowing if her roles or her responsibilities have changed, right? But it was said, I just wanted to point this out, just to kind of give a glimpse of what it is that she does when it comes to her royal duties and her responsibility, which indicates that there is a lot that she has on her plate. So, aside from her, when she stepped out of her home and then began to start her royal responsibilities, it is said by the royal outlets that she has a lot on her plate, right? So besides being a wife, besides being a mom of 3 children, it says that she does a lot of her work for children's charities, such as King Charles Children's Charity and East Anglia Children's Hospice. It said that her royal responsibilities are typically fulfilled in the afternoon, and sometimes it will extend into the evening. Now, if she has such a schedule, and let's then add that on top of minus Prince William and Meghan Markle, you know, when they were a part of that, it's almost like it was shared, the responsibilities. But with them out of the royal family, or at least out of that structure, then it kind of where you can say Prince William and Princess of Wales kind of took on more responsibilities, right? And if that is the case, then we have to say if her schedule is where she starts out in the afternoon and it can lead into the evening, then that would in itself, I'm sure, when she's done and retires to go back home, that she's already physically strung out. But now to have to be a mom, and I really feel that she is more, regardless that she has access to nannies and servants and maids and whatever you want to call it, I feel she's a true hands-on mother. Okay? At the end of the day, just like her mother-in-law, her late mother-in-law, Princess Diana, she too, despite that she had it, but she was a hands-on mother. She was doing that to kind of expose Prince William and Prince Harry to normalcy as much as possible. And so I feel that in that aspect, Princess of Wales, Princess Catherine, she as well is a very hands-on mother and wanting to create some type of normalcy of a life to her 3 children. Okay? And so with that being said, if she has such a hectic schedule, now it's to like spend time and make time for her children, right? Let alone her husband, but her children. So with her being a hands-on mom and then, you know, having been around children and now having to find the energy to now make the time for her children, that can be very, you know, us mothers. Now for those masculine that is looking, you know, you can't, you know, come for us. Because we give birth and, you know, we do have a lot on our plate. It can be overwhelming, right? And so when you think about it, it's like us regular moms, right, that have a hard time and find it very, excuse me, find it very challenging. Can you imagine someone like that of Princess Catherine, who have the demands of fulfilling her royal duties, but then having to come home now and to be a mom? That can be very overwhelming. And then not to mention with other extra stuff that goes on behind palace walls. And there's a whole lot that goes on behind those palace walls, okay? It's a whole lot. And it's almost where, for her, she sees it, she hears it, and I feel that during those moments that she sees things, and unfortunately it is pertaining to her husband, I feel at those moments she just goes and retreats, right? And she cries. And I feel that because, and jumping ahead a bit, the Knight of Swords did come out in her reading. And we're going to get to that in a second. The Knight of Swords is very much here. It came out. But it also came out under the devil. And by the way, just so you know, so that we know whose energies we are referencing here, as I always like to give the zodiac sign of whomever it is I'm reading to. And so her zodiac sign is that of a Capricorn. And the devil is associated with Capricorn. So the fact that her energy came straight out, and then the Nine of Swords, that shows you, that really puts heavy energy on what it is that she is undergoing. And you may say, well, what is it? What is pressing on her so heavenly? So with that being said, I think that is it. We're going to get into the cards. I think I pretty much covered everything that I wanted to cover. And so you can say that this is going to kind of also maybe kind of play out, because just for emphasis, I did do a reading pertaining to her and Prince William last year, 2 months back. And if you are interested to kind of go and see what I kind of interpreted there, the name of that video pertaining to her was called Troubled Waters, Kate and Prince William, Marital Crisis, Is a Divorce Imminent? So that was the name of that reading that I did for them 10 months back. So if you are interested and kind of wanted to know what I felt pertaining to their, marriage or their relationship and what is really going on, I kind of feel that it's still there. It never left in terms of what I mentioned there. It's still kind of like being carried over and bleeding over to present day. And with that being said, let's go to my twos to tarot, okay? So, for emphasis, this was a 6-card spread. And so the first card that came out pertaining to the question I asked, what was the motive? What was the reason behind this abdominal surgery? Okay? And it's interesting because even though the Empress, which would indicate a pregnancy, didn't come out in the spread, but that's where I intuitively feel that the reason it didn't come out is because it's almost like where she wasn't shown to be pregnant, right? And generally, not all women, but for some women that is already having someone like of a small frame, like Princess Catherine, sometimes for some women they don't show. But nonetheless, that's neither here or there. The point is that it was something early. She was still in her early stages. So it didn't really come out as something dominant. This spread of hers pertaining to that goes deeper. It's stressing. If anything, this reading and the spread that came out for her is pointing the fact of how depressed and distress and anxiety that she is undergoing. And it is connected to Prince William. So the first card again that came out was the Devil, which is connected to Capricorn, which is her energy. And by the way, Princess William's zodiac sign is a Cancer. So he's a water sign, okay? So later on, which in a minute, we're going to get to that. So anytime we see the cups come out, that will more likely be Prince William. So I have to kind of bring him in the mix because a part of what she's going through is connected to him. You know, this is not something that is solo or it's just about her. This is something that is contributing to her stress, right? So although everything went well, look like with that surgery and those surgeries, but overall, what is stemming to that and what contributed to this is the fact of, one, is that she has been under a lot of, you can say she's incurring her own mental imprisonment because there's things that worries her pertaining to her husband. Okay, so the devil, which represents depression. Remember early on I mentioned that I feel that it wouldn't surprise me if, you know, it's said or brought out at a later time that she may have or do take some type of, you know, depressants to try to help, you know, her sleep or to just relax and to not worry so much. There's a strong worry type of energy surrounding her, right, at this time, right? And I also feel that if she was honest with herself, okay, before I continue, if she was honest with herself, every now and then I might get some intuitive hits, but this is what I already had, but it's just now it's like reminding me, from spirit is reminding me. I feel also, if she was true, if she was being interviewed, if she ever do an interview, and the interviewer asked her, and she had a lie detective next to her, and they asked her, would you change anything? Would you not take the role on being a princess? And what came with it? And if she was asked that with a lie detective there, I strongly feel she would say yes, she would not take on that role. I think and feel for the first 3 to 5 years that her getting into and becoming a part of the royal family, I feel and think that it was good, right? Everything went well, and yes, she was excited like any other, particularly I'm talking specifically into my divine feminines. I think that is usually, you know, like thinking about the childhood dream of wanting to marry a prince, right? What woman out there, you know, I mean, not to say that every woman has that dream, but I know for me, I'm like, it's something fantasy about it, right? It's like a dream. It's like, I would like to marry a prince, but there's also that saying, right? Be careful what you wish for, but also there's another expression. With great power comes responsibility. And last but not least, all that gold does not glitter. And I feel like Princess of Wales has had an epiphany, an awakening, where if she had to do it all over again, she would not. Okay? So, I think, like I said, her body and her mind has had enough. I think she didn't realize really what it would take on. Now, right quick, you think about Meghan Markle, right? And Prince Harry. Meghan, she got into it for a hot second, and she's like, this is not what it's cracked up to be. That's what I really wanted to say, too. It's not what it's really cracked up to be, right? And so she communicated it to Prince Harry, and, you know, they decided, you know something? Okay, neither do I, right? He really wasn't so big on it either. So it's like they got out, and when you look at them now, I truly feel that when you look at them, when you look at pictures of them, they seem very happy to have their family, right? Because now they can live their life, they can do what they want to do, even if they are still scrutinized. It's not the same. It's like the pressure of being a part of the royal family can be very taxing, but it can also come with a price, right? Right? So it's like yeah, I want this life. I want to be a part of the royal family, but it comes with a very hefty price. And the price is very big. And I think that is the realization of Princess of Wales, Princess Catherine, that it came with a price that she didn't see because it was still under an illusion, okay, if that makes sense. And so, with that being said, I feel that even when it comes to her husband and his status, you know, where it's like I said, for the first 3 to 5 years, I feel like they were in heavenly bliss. But then at some point, things begin to kind of, you know, you begin to kind of get a taste, I would say, of what the royal life is. Fast forwarding to the last 2 to 3 years, there has been some things that really given her some type of a wake-up call that this is really more than what she took on, more than what she could handle, more than what she could chew, more than what she didn't expect, right? And so you will say, well, how is her husband connected to it? It's because, you know, how can I put this? The late Princess Diana, we already know how things went. We already know the situation. I don't have to kind of go into it because everyone knows how that ended. We already know, you know, what happened when she was married to then Prince Charles and his infidelity. I'm going to put it like that. His infidelity, right? And so it's almost like history is repeating itself where Princess of Wales is concerned. It's almost like she sees in Prince William almost like history repeating itself because, you know, some have said, well, the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree. I want to say that when it comes to both Prince William and Prince Harry, that they have exuded for sure when it comes to the charitable efforts that they put toward, you know, following in their late mother's tradition. Yes, absolutely, they have, right? They definitely do that. On a personal level, when we look at, so there are aspects that they have truly been grounded because of their late mother, but then there are aspects about Prince William that unfortunately looks like he is inhibiting that of his father, King Charles, when it comes down to fidelity and possibly, right? And when it comes down to what it is that she sees, you know, about him. And I feel like she notices things, right? And the only difference that I feel that is different with Prince William and his father when he was Prince Charles and when he, you know, had that extramarital affair with Camilla Parker Bowles is that, you know, there was something about Prince Charles at that time that was a little bit more bolder. You know, it's almost like he didn't really care how Princess Diana felt about it. It was almost like it was bold. It was up in her face. It was like pushed in her face. But with Prince William, I feel like there's something subtle, deceptive but subtle. And I hate to say it because overall, I think he's a good person. You know, I mean, I think because they are a product, a byproduct, him and his brother are a product of Princess Diana. And we know that I think it will go down in history, her being one of the most favorite royals than anyone else. She was definitely the favorite, even after her passing. She is still considered the princess, the world's princess, right? But I say that because I'm not judging, okay? And, you know, I feel too that Prince William is battling. You know, he is battling and trying to do what's right. You know, I think that his mother, by the way, we're going to get back to Princess of Wales, but as you know, everything to me is connecting. So you might say, well, what does it all connects, okay? So connect the dots and just kind of see how all of this synchronizes, because it does synchronizes, right? So I feel like he thinks about his mother, the late Princess Diana. He thinks even about his grandmother, the late Queen Elizabeth. He thinks about her. So even though she has passed and is no longer here, I also picked up too, when channeling Princess of Wales, that, and with Prince William, that the grandmother, when Queen Elizabeth was here, there was a sense that she grounded them, or they felt grounded while she was here, okay? It was something about her presence and being around. I also feel that, you know, when it comes to Princess Catherine, that she was a little bit more happier. Like now you see her face, you know, her energy is just something off. She's not happy. Now, part of it where I will say she probably kept in, because there was an aspect of her that didn't want to disappoint or let down Queen Elizabeth. And she kind of almost just surrendered to whatever it was in terms of, you know, even though she was tired then, but there was an aspect of her that she felt like, you know, she had to live up to. Now, with, you know, Queen Elizabeth not around, I feel like now is something that's going to emerge about her where it would not surprise me. And I'm going to say it. I don't know if other outlets and, you know, channels have mentioned it, but it would not surprise me. And I may be the first one that feel or predict this, that it will not surprise me if Princess of Wales, Princess Catherine, steps down from her royal duties as well. It would not surprise me that she just decide to just kind of walk away from it. Okay, so I'm putting that out there. It would not surprise me. All right, that definitely remains to be seen, but I am going to feel and say I'm going to predict that it may be very shocking somewhere in the near future that she may walk away and just kind of just want to just live, you know, a normal life, right? Be something like Prince Harry and Meghan, right? Nothing is set in stone, but that is what I feel, okay? Let's talk about the Nine of Swords here. That was right under the devil, okay? So Nine of Swords along with the devil, you put these two together, and that is very heavy, 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 energetic stress, or it's indicating severe depression, all right? Now, under those two cards, we come down to more clarifiers pertaining to those energies which came out from the Kipper's deck. I think I want to mention, as I was preparing my decks to use for this reading, I want to say when it came out to the General Tarot deck, that the Knight of Cups came out twice, which is pertaining to William's energy because he's a water sign. Cups is associated with water sign. Marriage came out, and then the message of concern. And as we get to the very end, right, I'm not going to try to be too long, but as we get to the very end, when I pulled out what is the outcome would be, what is all of this, the cards and what I have sensed and picked up, what is it all leading to? When pointing to the very end, well, maybe I should actually wait. Actually, I'm going to wait so it makes a little bit more sense. I'm going to wait before I talk about that last card. So what came out, Nine of Cups twice, the marriage card, and the message of concern. What does that mean? It means that, unfortunately, Kate or Catherine, Princess Catherine. Now, for some of the royals, it is said, and I have read, that some do call her Kate, right? But just for purposes of, you know, showing proper etiquette in terms of, you know, how she should be addressed, I say Princess of Wales, Princess Catherine, right? So I feel like, what I was going to say is that with that, yes, I remember that when I was pre-shuffling to get what will come out to kind of touch upon what is the Nine of Swords And the devil here, doing a pre-shuffle of this deck before these cards came out, was, like I said, the marriage, which indicates to me that there is trouble. Remember I mentioned that reading that I did for them? Since that reading, there has always been trouble there, right? It's there. It's maybe it was dormant, but now everything is kind of like really coming out more clearly, if that makes sense, right? So they had problems and issues. And I think I mentioned the side mistress, the mistress, Rosen, I can't think of her name, but you guys can Google it. The mistress that Prince William has been linked to, right? So even though the Princess of Wales may have spoke to him about it and discussed it, and he put it to the side or put it to rest, it doesn't mean that it was something permanently that he was going to do, okay? And that just brings me to the point of what it is that it's making her really stressed, because she knows that his status is going to do what? Attract women, whether from the past or new ones. And this is something that she also feels intuitively. She's intuitive, right? She knows and sees things. And I think that with her personality, being a Capricorn woman, which is associated with the earth element, there is a part of her that is practical. It's almost like giving the person the benefit of the doubt. There's something that she values and takes seriously, and I feel like when it comes to her marriage, she does everything she can to try to, hold on to it and try to also be patient when it comes to her husband's behavior, if you will, okay? Allegedly, all right? The cards that came out to clarify the devil to the Knight of Swords that came out is thoughts, which is her, along with bad health, okay? Thoughts. Now, never mind the masculine energy here. I feel this is Princess of Wales, Princess Catherine. This is her thinking about having her mind, right? Because swords is the mental suits. Again, it's the mental suits. This is her having her mind thinking about who it is that Prince William allegedly might be trying to see. Who is he seeing? Kind of trying to, figure out, what is he doing behind the scenes when she's not around? But then it's next to bad health, which shows that her health, not so much her physical, her mental, because again, it's in the alignment of this Knight of Swords and the devil. It's her mental health here. And like I mentioned early on in the video, that sometimes mental health can begin to affect the physical. It can affect the emotional. And this is what is happening with her, that she is suffering, okay? Now that I'm very strongly about, more than anything else that I may mention, because it's being shown that that is what she is dealing with, stress. I'm almost very certain somehow it's going to come out that she is dealing with stress, heavy stress. But I feel that the secret part of it is that she takes depressants or takes certain things that maybe the other royal officials don't know or per se, and she tries to, handle it in the way that she can, all right? Which would explain, again, her wanting to stay back, possibly in the hospital. Now let's move on, because I don't want this to be too long. I don't want my tablet to cut off. Let me just see something, guys. It's been an hour, so I'm going to move this along before my tablet cuts off. So moving over, now this is where we come to Princess William energy. We have here the King of Cups. This is his energy because he's a Cancer. Cups is associated with the water sign. And then underneath, we have the major arcana of the Hangman. And so this at this point could be her. Hangman in tarot represents not only seeing things from a different perspective, but when it comes to relationships, comes to marriage, relationships, like I said, partnerships, the Hangman is not something you want to come out when it's representing your relationship, because that means that somebody, right, is kind of stuck. But but they are contemplating. They are not happy. She's not happy. You know, when I saw the energies of the cards during the pre-shuffles, it indicates that for her, it's like they are living in a loveless marriage, right? There's no love there, right? Whatever and however they felt in the early stages of their marriage, it has died out. It has fizzled, unfortunately, right? You know, possibly. And there's no love. It's like not as much, nowhere as near when it was in the beginning. King of Cups here, when you look at this King of Cups, when you look at Prince Harry's energy, as I feel this is representing his energy, we see here that this illustration shows this man, this masculine, who is kind of looking at the cup, but it's nothing there. So there's a lack of something. Definitely is a lack of attention, a lack of affection that is going on between him and Princess of Wales, possibly, right? So the hangman is just representing that, and I feel that it's both of them. It's not like one way. I feel that both of them are feeling that there's something there that they are trying to figure out. But I think more so with Princess of Wales, I think that she knows what she's going to do. I already know that she is planning something. I feel that she is definitely planning something, because at the third clarifier pertaining to those energies we have is distant horizon. This is showing she is planning something. And again, it would not surprise me if she suddenly, unexpectedly, pull out and just walk away. And the reason behind it, as we will go further, is because of her peace of mind. And having a peace of mind is happiness, right? To have a peace of mind, that's the best thing that you can have, right? That is the source. That is the vibrant, that's where everything starts, is in the mind, right? And the lack of that, it's going to bring you unhappiness, right? So again, that is part of this anxiety and stress. It's because of her thoughts and what she sees and what it is that, you know, Prince William might be up to, okay? Now let's move over. We have here the Six of Cups. Again, this could be Prince William, but I feel that it could also just be the energy of her thinking about the past, right? Remember I mentioned the first 3 to 5 years of their marriage. I think it was 2011 that they got married. And so I feel that again, when she's alone, I'm really feeling more that this is more about her when she's alone. The Hermit shows up in a reading when it's bringing emphasis to someone needing answers, needing clarity, but it's also a solitude energy, being by yourself. Remember when I feel, and I mentioned earlier, I said when she's home and she's by herself, that she closes the door and probably cries. I feel that she cries. You know, there's something about where she reflects, you know, maybe thinking about. All right, guys, I knew it. I felt it. I just knew the tablet was going to cut off, and it did. So I think right before it cut off, I was making mention that she thinks about the past, you know, pertaining to how things were between her and her husband, Prince William, you know, like I said, in the past pertaining to their relationship. But when she's alone, I feel that there's a lot that goes on that she reflects upon, you know, thinking about it. And also pertaining to the decisions, right? Did she make a wise decision? Because the Hermit is said to be someone that is wise, but could be questioning at the same time. Did they make a wise decision? And I feel that when she reflects upon it, she thinks about, did I make the right decision about just becoming a princess, being a part of the royal family, right? Because now it's like, again, there's a price that I'm seeing that I'm paying for. Is it really worth it, is what I'm hearing. Like, is it worth it? Has it been worth it? Aside from her kids and children, I just think that overall, like I said, if she is ever interviewed, she just may be very honest and say, if I had to do it again, if she had to go back in time, and that could also be that of the Six of Cups, going back in time. If I had to go back in time and change something, would I? And I feel strongly the answer would be yes, she would change. From stepping into the role of being a part of the royal family. And then to clarify that, those energies, we got the thief. And I feel that, again, thief is, of course, is very, clear in what it can symbolize. Something that's taken away. It doesn't have to be money. It could be a person. It could be a place. It could be anything that you feel that has robbed you, or that maybe time have robbed me, right? Thinking about, again, that Six of Cups again. Time, I've been robbed of time, of what maybe how my life could have turned out to be, right? So the thief is very significant here in terms of everything that she reflects upon while she is in that solitude by herself. And this might be something that she have not expressed to her husband. This is something also that I feel she is keeping all internally, mentally on her mind. Now, let's move over. And so in the fourth position, we have the Ace of Cups. And we have the Ten of Pentacles. And I feel that this, again, will speak upon what might be going on with her, right? So the Ace of Cups is, again, the Ace is about love. Again, reflecting about love and having entered into this union with Prince William. Is it something that she feels, was it something that, was a good decision? Because the Ten of Pentacles, it deals with things of value. For me, the Ten of Pentacles, different readers will, it can mean different things, but for me, generally, when I see the Ten of Pentacles, depending on the scenario of the reading, to me, it's about a life review, because Pentacles is connected to things of value, possessions, work, things of, like I said, value. So it's like, at the end, when I look at my overall life, reflecting, tipping over that energy from the Six of Cups, and giving thought to it, did I make the right choice? When it comes to love and the heart, did I really think about it? Because we also know too, even when she was dating Princess Williams, they had broken up a few times. So I feel like she's singing, back then it's almost like singing, was that a red flag? Did I, ignore the red flag and was just caught up with just the fantasy of it all? Caught up with just the title? Because Pentacles is also connected to a person, a place, or a community, an environment, that of the royal palace, right? That is also connected. When you think about it, you see the Ten of Pentacles, that do look like Kensington Palace, or like Buckingham Palace, right? It looked like a palace, but it's symbolizing great wealth, a lot of money. So when you think about it, it's like, did I get caught up with the illusion of it all? But really, at the end, we have here despair. This is her energy. Like, at the end, was it all worth it? Did I make the right decision? Okay, now moving over, we go to another major arcana, that of the Temperance. Okay, the Temperance is an energy of being patient, being persevering, but also a card of stability, but also that of peace. And remember, I have emphasized quite a few times that her mind is what is kind of like contributing to her stress. She wants peace, peace of mind. There's a sense of her needing to balance her mind, body, and soul. And it's very hard because there's a lot of distractions. She can't really focus. That could also be why she wanted to remain possibly there, as I mentioned before, at the hospital, right? Because it's somewhere where I feel, like I said, if she had to come home, she might have would have had a mental breakdown. Okay? I'm really strongly feeling that. There would have been a mental breakdown. Okay? Now, under that, we have the Seven of Pentacles. This is her, again, reflecting about the things she invested in, particularly investing in, becoming a part of the royal family, looking back. But also, you can say that the Seven of Pentacles is just like the card of Temperance, because both of them is a period of waiting, being patient, because this is about like the seeds you plant, and then what you have to do when you plant the seeds, the seeds don't sprout overnight, you got to wait till they grow. So both of these carry the same energy about patience. There's something about her patience now that you can say she's no longer wanting to be patient about. And I feel when it comes to Prince William, that may be what is going on here. Because under that, look what came out is the Lovers. Okay? The Lovers. Now, not only do Lovers represent love, lovers in terms of, yes, I feel that, she knows that possibly there may be someone else. But back in the day, it was said that the Lovers was also called the choice. So when the Lovers come out, but generally it is making a choice between two people. And this is either her having questioned Prince William or her looking at him as him having made a choice in terms of what it is that he wants. It's almost like him with that mistress or her. But there's a decision that is made. Now, this could also be her making a decision if she wants to continue to invest possibly in her marriage to Prince William. Again, that remains to be seen. I'm only speaking upon the energies at this time. Now, the last energy that came out in the 6th position, we got the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is one of the most fastest moving energies of the tarot. And so with that being said, it's representing that things is beginning to pick up. Remember where we just left the Temperance along with the 7 of Pentacles, having waited? Now for her, I almost feel that a decision has been made. She's no longer in this hangman position. The hangman is upright now, so to speak, where she has had the clarity coming out of the Hermit, in one essence, coming out of the Hermit, and now it's like she knows what needs to be done. Because at the end of the day, if her peace of mind is not balanced, if she's not really happy with the things that she sees behind the scenes, whatever's going on behind those palace walls pertaining to her husband, it is taking a toll on her mental mind. And anybody in their right mind, if that is what is going on, where your peace of mind is disturbed, not only for her or anybody, any of us, if your peace of mind is disturbed, you need to let something go. Even if it's going to be emotional, and we may not want to, because like I said, I feel that she as well carries a lot. It's almost like, whatever it is that the palace don't want to show, right? It's like she has to be in alignment with that, but underneath it all, there is something about her that still wants to try to, hold on to her family, and to look, but at the end, she sees, is it really worth it? And we have the 8 of Cups here. Now, the 8 of Cups could be definitely her, or it could be Prince William, where she sees that at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I feel it would not surprise me that they both go their separate ways. And I already know, because I'm going to have the comment section open where people could come in and give your, comments or your feedback about it. No, people are going to say, no, there's no separation. And it may not be, right? This is just energy I'm picking up right now, because energy is not set in stone. This is what I currently see as of today, January 22nd, 2024, as to what may be going on, right? But it's possible that they may be going their separate ways. But I feel also it's a lot that I'm picking up with this 8 of Cups, pertaining to, again, looking at both of them in terms of how they feel, that the love, they're emotionally detached. There's a detachment. There's a lack of love that is going on between her and Prince William. And I also feel that that is another reason why she don't want any children, is because she knows it's almost like she is predicting her own future. Like she almost feels like she knows that they will separate. It's almost like she knows that they will not be together. So it's almost like if I already feel and sense that we are not going to be together, why would I bring a 4th child into this world, if that makes sense, right? Like if you know you are not going to be with somebody, but maybe you are quietly right? Because there's an aspect of her that I feel she has secrets as well. I feel that I did see the Two of Wands doing a pre-shuffle. I feel she is planning something. So again, it would not surprise me if we hear at some point in the future that she just suddenly just ends it. Because as I look over at the deck over here, what is being shown is the Death card. The Death card are endings for something new. And if this is representing of her, it's showing that she may possibly, I'm going to put it like that, she may possibly end this, not only just end things with Prince William, but just end being a part of the royal family and just walk away from it all to start a new life where there's normalcy, right? And so as we close out this reading, I pull from the Soul's Journey deck to see overall what will be the outcome, or what is all of this pertaining to where Princess of Wales is concerned. What is the overall message behind everything that came out? And the card that came out was happiness. Now, this is where I would mention where I wanted to wait, where when doing the pre-shuffle and preparing the deck to pull out what was going to come out for her, doing that, there were 4 cards out of all the cards that flipped out. There were 4 cards that flipped out, and in this order: regret, change, worry, and then happiness. So out of the 4, this came out again. So if we, as tarot readers, we see that certain cards come out and we put it back in, if they come back out again, that means that that is more or less what is the current energy, and it's bringing some type of an emphasis on it. So with happiness here, it came out. But let's just for a second talk about 3 that I saw during the pre-shuffle. We got regret, we got change, and worry. Those 3 are the energies that I picked up on and spoke about during the course of this reading. Particularly when it comes to regret. I said, and I didn't really want to come out and say, do she regret being a part of the royal family? Because like anything else, when we look at things that we may see as regret, we can't really say that. Why? Because during those periods of our life that we feel that we regret about doing something, right? To look at it as lessons, experiences. So I still will say, even though for her it may feel that way, but I feel that she will say, I don't regret having children. I don't regret, having experienced what it would be like, right? Because those are the things where most women would not ever experience, being a part of the royal family, as I feel that most of you anyway would not. Anyway, for me, I used to want to, but not anymore, because it's more to it. It's more beneath the eye. All that shimmers and is gold that you see, it's not what it is. But I feel that she will look at it to say, I've learned, I've had a lesson, and it was an experience. But would I repeat it? No. Change. There is change as being represented by, going back, what I saw on the top of the deck, change. The Death card, that represents change. There's a change that she wants to break away from, right? The routine, allegedly. And then worry, going right back to the first cards of the reading with the Devil and the 9 of Swords. That's worry. So I have definitely pulled out energies of the cards that really focuses about her worry. So it's really not even so much like Spirit didn't even give me anything indicating, yes, it could have been a possible pregnancy, but really it's about the mental state that she is undergoing. And I feel that somehow it will come out later on. It will be more details that will emerge, eventually in the next couple of weeks or a month, somehow pertaining to her, state of mind. And what it is that is contributing to it. Let's talk about the card that came out is happiness. It says, I am aware that being happy means that I am on the right path. So if she is, like I said, coming out of that Hermit, coming out of that Hangman energy, which are 2 major arcanas, that means that she at the end is looking for her overall well-being, her peace of mind, her mental state. And if that is what she is deciding to do for her overall peace of mind, because if her mind is not right, then guess what? It's going to affect her children. Her children need her, right? Her children need her. And I feel that, like I said, that she's a good mother. And she knows that I need this time to recover so that I can, be there for my children, but being in the right frame of mind, right? Not being irritable, not wanting to lash out on those children, because sometimes as mothers, we can get so overwhelmed that we can lash out and kind of put it out on the people closest to us, children, our partners, whomever it may be. And again, as we close out, I want to say that at the end, whatever decision that she makes, if it's pertaining to her peace of mind and to balance those things, and if it's going to spare her in the future of having some sort of mental breakdown and maybe things getting worse because things are not really, she is not really happy where she's at, then we can't judge, right? So whether she stays, decides to stay, or whether she decides to go and to just remove herself from that, at the end, it's about her peace of mind, all right? So that is what I got. That is what and how I feel might be the overall situation with that medical situation and the status, and mentioning what could have been the reason behind it, and then overall what would be the outcome is her happiness. And at the end of the day, we all want happiness, even if it means we have to detach from the ones that we love. Then sometimes that's what it have to be. No judgment here. At the end, we wish her the best, that she heals and recovers her mind, body, and soul, so that she can be the best that she can be as a mother, and hopefully as a wife as well. Okay? So if you want, like I said, I know I'm going to get feedback from both, from you guys, whoever come across this video. I do welcome it. Just, I do ask to keep it, respectful, because if it's anything that is less than respectful, I will delete your message. Okay, I will delete it. But as long as it's respectful, you can give your opinions, just as I gave you my way of interpreting what is the situation. I would like to hear what you have to say about it. If you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, I'm very open to your comments, all right? So with that being said, everyone, at the end, again, we hope that all will turn out well with her moving forward, and as well with King Charles, all right? I might, maybe, I'm not sure, because that is more of a deeper, I feel that is more, with his medical situation, I feel that's a little bit more deeper. So I may not do a reading pertaining to him. I feel his is a little bit more, there, and I want to just kind of leave that there. But overall, I wanted to kind of just, like I said, just see exactly what was going on, because obviously, Katie is dealing with some things that, the public may not see. But anyway, I digress. All right, everyone, until the next one, I'm wishing all of you a wonderful Monday evening. See you soon. Thank you for watching. Peace, love, and light. Bye.